Before Ginny stole our favorite hero's heart, Chang was the first girl that Harry fell for. She was cast very nicely in the films by Scottish actress Katie Loam. Rowling actually liked the actress so much that she made it canon that Cho was Scottish.
My name is Katie Long, and I'm an actor.
Now, as well as the films portrayed her character, there was still a lot left out from the books when the series adapted the novels to the big screen. In this video, I'm going to fill in the blanks as I explain the entire life of Chang. Cho was born into a Scottish family in the late 70s. As a kid, she loved Quidditch, and she cheered on the Tuthill Tornadoes, which was her favorite team since the age of 6. Cho was a very pretty girl with long, shiny, dark hair. When she went to Hogwarts, she attracted the attention of many boys because of her beauty. The first night she arrived at the castle, she was sorted into Ravenclaw. She was very popular and had a lot of friends who always surrounded her. She took her love of Quidditch from watching it to playing it when she tried out for her house team. She was made the Seeker for Ravenclaw. She rode the Comet 260 broomstick, a broom that wasn't the best, but she made it work. She was the only girl on the team and one of the best. She eventually sustained some injuries on the pitch and was out for a while, but she was back in time during her 4th year to play against Gryffindor and face Harry Potter, Gryffindor's Seeker. The first time Harry saw her was before the match, and he noted that she was very pretty. She smiled at Harry as the two teams faced each other behind their captains before the match. In the actual game, she trailed behind Harry, knowing that his Firebolt broomstick was much faster than her Comet 260. Harry noted that she was a very good flyer, and despite having a much slower broomstick, she was able to cut across him, forcing him to change direction. When Harry used his full acceleration, he lost her. Harry later found the snitch and dove after it, and Cho followed when she saw what he was doing. A bludger hit by Ravenclaw knocked him off course at the last second, giving Cho another opportunity to find the snitch before he did. When Harry saw the snitch a second time, Cho appeared out of nowhere, blocking him from it. Gryffindor captain Oliver Wood told Harry to stop being a gentleman and to knock her off her broom if he had to. Cho was grinning at her accomplishment of distracting Harry. Cho continued to follow him, deciding to mark him rather than look for the snitch herself. Harry made a fake dive and then accelerated toward the snitch and caught it, beating Cho and winning the game for Gryffindor. Later that year, when Gryffindor was playing Slytherin, Cho wished Harry good luck before the game. This made Harry blush. The following summer, Cho attended the Quidditch World Cup. There she saw Harry, who she waved at. This made Harry spill quite a bit of water on himself as he waved back. Harry had developed feelings for Cho and thought about her before he went to bed that night. When Cho arrived for her 5th year of Hogwarts, she cheered on the first years who were sorted into Ravenclaw. One day, Cho called after Harry, who was on edge about an article written about him. Not knowing it was Cho, he snapped at her. When he realized who it was, he got nervous and said sorry to Cho as she returned the quill that he had dropped. She then wished him good luck on the first task of the Triwizard Tournament. When badges were passed around the school that said Potter stinks and support Cedric Diggory, Cho was one of the few that didn't wear it, which made Harry feel a lot better about the whole situation.
Potter stinks!
One day, Cedric Diggory, one of the Triwizard Tournament champions along with Harry, asked Cho to the Yule Ball, and she agreed to go with him. A few days later, Cho was with her friends when Harry asked to have a word with her in private. All her friends giggled, but she didn't. Harry asked her to the Yule Ball in a way that was completely misunderstandable.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Harry then asked her again, this time slowly.
Oh, Harry, I'm sorry, but someone's already asked me.
They stood there looking at each other awkwardly until Cho broke the silence and said bye. As she was walking away, Harry asked who she was going with, and she told him it was Cedric. Cho truly was sorry, and most likely would have gone with Harry if he had asked her first.
Harry! I really am sorry.
Cedric and Cho had a great time at the ball. They danced together pretty much the whole night. Cho and Cedric started dating after this, and would walk around the corridors holding hands. When they went into Hogsmeade, the two went to Madame Puttyfoot's, a place where many Hogwarts couples went together. When the second task of the Triwizard Tournament took place, each champion got the thing that they would miss most taken from them, and their goal was to retrieve it in the lake. Cho was the thing that Cedric would miss most, and she was tied down underwater. Even though Harry was the first to get there, Cedric came in first place because Harry stayed back to make sure that the others tied down would be okay. When the final scores were announced, Cho looked up at Cedric with a glowing look, as Dumbledore said that he came in first place. Cho and Cedric continued to date and had a great time together. This all changed though. At the end of term, Cedric was killed by Peter Pettigrew when Voldemort returned.
No! Cedric!
Harry brought his dead body back to Hogwarts, which was Cedric's final wish. This deeply affected Cho. She had tears pouring silently down her face when the school was remembering him. Cho struggled quite a bit that summer, mourning the loss of her boyfriend. On the way to her 6th year of Hogwarts, Cho saw Harry on the train Harry and Cho continued to have very awkward interactions. He was covered in green liquid from Neville's plant that had just exploded the liquid everywhere. Oh, hello Harry. Bad time? Oh, hi. Well, just thought I'd say hello. Bye then. When the entire Wizarding World turned on Harry after the Ministry of Magic branded him a liar when he said that Voldemort returned the night that Cedric died, Cho was one of the few that believed Harry. She could have easily blamed him for Cedric's death, the man she was dating and was very close with, but she didn't, and she was one of the few that actually supported him. Cho arrived at the castle after the journey on the train. When she was in the Great Hall, she was chatting with her friends instead of listening to Umbridge give her speech. On the first day of classes, Cho was walking without her friends, something most unusual. She went up to Harry and they joked about their last meeting with the green liquid. Harry then asked Cho if she had a good summer, something that he immediately regretted because of Cedric's death. She said it was alright in a somewhat untruthful way. Ron then commented on her badge that had her favorite Quidditch team on it, the Tornadoes. You don't support them, do you? Yeah, I do. Have you always supported them, or just since they started winning the league? I've supported them since I was 6. She then said bye to Harry and walked off. Hermione later rounded on Ron for being rude to Cho and saying that she wanted to talk to Harry alone. One morning, Cho woke up early and remembered that it was her mom's birthday. She quickly put together a letter and a parcel and went up to the owlery. When she got there, she saw Harry, which made her jump because she didn't think that anyone else would be up there that early. They awkwardly talked about the weather. They then started to discuss Quidditch, and Harry told her how Ron was trying out for the Gryffindor team, and she replied saying, "The tornado hater." Cho then told Harry that he was brave for standing up to Umbridge about Cedric's death in class. Filch the caretaker slammed the door open and accused Harry of ordering dunk bombs. Cho defended him when Harry argued back. When Filch rounded on her, she fiercely shut him down. After Cho sent her package and letter, she and Harry walked out together and continued to talk. When Harry, Ron, and Hermione started a club where Harry would teach Defense Against the Dark Arts to undermine Umbridge, they had a meeting in the Hog's Head to organize the club. Cho was one of the first ones to show up with her friend Marietta. Hermione had invited her to come without telling Harry until she showed up. When Cho sat down, she smiled at Harry. Her friend Marietta, however, gave him a mistrustful look, and it was clear that Cho had forced her friend to come with her. Marietta's mother worked for the Ministry of Magic, and she had forbid Marietta to get on Umbridge's bad side. Cho's parents had said the same thing, but she didn't care because she felt that she was fighting for Cedric. If they think I'm not gonna fight you-know-who after what happened to Cedric. Cho was still deeply upset about Cedric's death. She cried a lot, whether it was during meals, in the bathroom, or any other place. It affected her playing Quidditch as well. She wasn't flying well at all, and she was worried that she might get kicked off the team. During the meeting in the Hog's Head, when everyone was naming Harry's many impressive accomplishments, Cho piped up and mentioned Harry getting through all of the tasks of the Triwizard Tournament, beating a dragon and the Merpeople. She smiled at Harry as she said this, and Harry's stomach did a somersault. At the end of the meeting, Cho wrote her name down, and as did her friend Marietta, although she gave Cho a rather reproachful look as she did so. As she was leaving, she got her things rather slowly, hoping to talk to Harry, but Marietta stood there with her arms crossed, forcing her to leave without saying anything to him. But she did wave to him as she and Marietta walked out. After the meeting, Hermione mentioned that Cho couldn't keep her eyes off of Harry.
Cho couldn't take her eyes off you, could she?
When Cho went to the first meeting, she was very impressed by the Room of Requirement, the place that they would hold all of the club meetings. When Hermione said that they should set a leader, Cho immediately said that Harry was the leader. When they were picking a name for the club, Cho recommended the Defense Association, and the DA for short. Ginny then said that the DA was good, but that it should stand for Dumbledore's Army instead. During the lesson, Harry walked over to Cho, who caught Marietta's sleeve on fire. "You made me nervous. I was doing alright before then." Cho then brought Cedric up, but cut off looking rather confused, and awkward silence followed. The two had a few flirtatious moments during the lessons.
A little higher.
After one lesson, Cho hung back and told Marietta to leave without her. When it was just her and Harry left in the room, she started to cry. When Harry went over to see if she was alright, they started talking about Cedric.
It's just learning all this. Makes me wonder whether if he'd known it.
Cedric did know this stuff. He was really good. It's just Voldemort was better.
She apologized for both crying and bringing up Cedric. She then told Harry that she really liked him. Cho leaned in, and the two kissed. Cho was struggling with her feelings for Harry and her feelings for Cedric as well.
Obviously she's feeling sad about Cedric.
and therefore confused about liking Harry and guilty about kissing him.
After Christmas break, Cho and Harry made plans to go into Hogsmeade together on Valentine's Day. A few weeks later, Roger Davies, captain of the Ravenclaw Quidditch team, asked Cho out, but she turned him down because of Harry. When Valentine's Day finally came along, Harry and Cho met in the entrance hall of the castle. On the way there, they kept catching each other's eyes and smiling, but weren't talking much. The two eventually started talking about Quidditch, along with the first match that they ever played against each other. They passed a group of Slytherin girls who made fun of them and brought up Cedric. The two went to Madame Puddifoot's. There, they were surrounded by couples holding hands. Roger Davies, the boy that had asked Cho out, was sitting right next to them and kissing the girl he was with. When Harry asked Cho if she wanted to meet Hermione at the Three Broomsticks, Cho got very mad. She sat in silence for a few minutes until Cho told Harry about Roger Davies asking her out. She then said that she had also gone there with Cedric the year before. Things got even worse when Cho asked Harry if Cedric mentioned her before he died. Harry awkwardly told her that there wasn't really time for that. He tried to change the subject back to Quidditch, but Cho started to cry. Harry said that they shouldn't talk about Cedric anymore, and Cho started to cry more, saying that she thought that Harry would understand. She said that she needed to talk about it, and she thought that he did too. Harry told her that he talked about it with Hermione, and Cho got mad that he talked to Hermione about it and not her. Perhaps it would be best if we just paid and you went to meet up with Hermione Granger like you obviously want to. Everyone in the shop was watching as Cho stormed out. Harry, confused about what had just happened, met up with Hermione and was interviewed about what had really happened the night that Voldemort returned and Cedric had died. After their date, Cho ignored Harry, but when she read the article, everything changed. Cho grabbed Harry's hand while walking down the hall one day. She whispered in his ear that she was really sorry and that the interview he did was very brave. She said that it made her cry. She gave Harry a kiss on the cheek and hurried off. Later that year, Cho's friend Marietta ratted out the DA to Umbridge. This made her have Sneak written on her face in pimples, courtesy of Hermione adding a jinx to the list that everyone signed. Cho apologized to Harry for this, but he got mad when she said that Marietta was a lovely person, and the two got in a big argument. Cho then said it was mean of Hermione to jinx the list, and Harry said that he thought the idea was brilliant. Cho got mad once again that he was defending Hermione. Oh yes, I forgot. Of course it was darling Hermione's idea. Don't start crying again. I wasn't going to. Yeah, well good. I've got enough to cope with at the moment. Go and cope with it then. Cho then stormed away. She saw Hermione afterward, which made her even more mad. Hermione noted that she looked miserable. The final match of the Quidditch season was Gryffindor vs. Ravenclaw. Cho was talking to Roger Davies avidly before the match. In the match, Gryffindor seeker Ginny Weasley, who replaced Harry, beat Cho to the snitch, and Cho started to cry. Ron said more out of temper than anything. After Ginny Weasley dumped Michael Corner, he ran off to comfort Cho, and the two eventually started dating. On the Hogwarts Express home, Cho and Harry made eye contact as she passed his compartment, and she blushed as she walked by. After that summer, they were back on the Hogwarts Express heading back to Hogwarts. Cho saw Harry walking down the train and darted into her compartment to avoid him. She pretended to be in a deep conversation with her friend Marietta. Harry and Cho did not hate each other, but they were too embarrassed to look at each other, much less talk. Harry described the relationship, saying, "They just fell apart." Cho was still dating Michael Corner at this point. When Dumbledore died, Cho and her parents attended his funeral. Cho graduated from Hogwarts that year, but that would not be the last time that she was there. She arrived a year later to help fight in the Battle of Hogwarts. Cho smiled at Harry when she arrived. When Harry asked the Ravenclaws if they knew anything about the lost diadem of Ravenclaw, Cho said that she would take Harry to Ravenclaw's common room, but Ginny, who was dating Harry at the time, cut her off and said that Luna should go with him instead. While many people were killed during the battle, Cho survived. Cho would eventually break up with Michael Corner sometime after the battle. She would go on to live a happy life, marrying a muggle. Cho was Harry's first love interest and helped him learn a lot about himself. Although it was a tough relationship, it helped him grow as a person and helped shape the man he would eventually become. She went through a lot of trauma and was confused for a very long time, but she eventually found her way and moved on from the past. She was finally happy and finally with someone that she truly loved. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button to help grow the channel. You can follow me on social media, links are in the description, and look out for new videos on the way.